Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another Digimon deck profile video. So today I'm going to be taking a look at BT-06, and BT-06 offers us a lot of new and powerful tools to not only build some new and exciting decks, but update some of the current and existing decks we already have, and one of those decks that I'm going to be looking at today is going to be Rookie Rush. Yes, Rookie Rush is still just as good as it was in BT-05, and it was already really good in BT-05, and BT-06 is adding a lot of extra aggression, removal, and draw power to the deck, making it even stronger than it was before. On to the deck profile, starting off with the Digitama, I'm going to be running one copy of Cupimon. So Cupimon is the 5th Digitama of the deck. It could really be anything you want it to be, or you don't even have to run a 5th Digitama, just because Rookie Rush is a very fast and aggressive deck, where you'll probably end up closing out the game before you even get to this point. I just personally like having a 5th Digitama just in case those games do get long and drawn out, so that way I could ensure that I'll have as many card draw possibilities coming from my Digitamas as much as I possibly can to keep myself in the game. And Cupimon is actually acting as a really good card draw engine in itself, with its when attacking inheritable ability, where if we have 5 or more cards in our security, then we get to draw 1 card. This is only really going to be useful super early on in the game, so if this is just your 5th Digitama and it's flipped early enough, then you could start using it to rack up some card draws versus our other Digitama, which is going to be the main Digitama of the deck, and that's going to be 4 copies of Upamon. So we're using Upamon as the primary draw engine of the deck just because it's very easy for us to get to that 3 security threshold to start drawing cards the same way we want to use Cupimon to draw cards is just attacking the opponent. So Upamon and Cupimon are 2 very good card draw engines to be using as our Digitamas, allowing us to try to draw as many cards as we possibly can, just because we are going to be hard playing lots of cards more often than not, so we need ways of refilling our hand. And our Digitama slot, both of these cards are looking to be very good at accomplishing that task. Next, on to the rookies, I'm going to be running 3 copies of Aruraumon. So Aruraumon we're only playing in the deck just because it is a rookie that hard plays for 2 and has 5,000 DP, making it just a very efficient and very aggressive rookie to be playing overall. And then I'm going to be playing 3 copies of Liollmon, which is basically 3 additional copies of Aruraumon, which is just, again, really good because it hard plays for 2 and has 5,000 DP, making it one of the cheapest and most powerful rookies we could be playing. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Kudamon. So Kudamon is just another rookie in the deck to help us draw cards thanks to his nice when attacking ability, where if we have 4 or less cards in our hands, then we get to draw 1 card. Because we are Rookie Rush and we are going to be hard playing cards more than Digivolving, we're not really going to be drawing that often off of Evolution, so we do need to come up with alternate ways to try to draw cards. So Kudamon is another really good way to help us draw cards. It is a little bit unfortunate that he only has 1,000 DP, so he's not going to be surviving most security checks, but that's okay, we're just using him to draw cards. Next, I'm going to be running 3 copies of Salamon. I'm almost considering on trying to bump up Salamon to 4 just because Salamon is just that good and that important in the deck. So what the Salamon is doing is she has a nice on-delete ability where if we have 3 or fewer cards in our security, then we get to recover 1, and we do have ways of dealing damage to ourselves, and the opponent is also going to want to try to aggress into us, so we do need some way to recover cards, and there's no better way to recover cards than with the Salamon because of her on-delete ability. Next, I'm going to be running 3 copies of Lopmon. So Lopmon is just another rookie to help us draw cards because of her nice on-play ability, where we get a look at the top card of our security stack, then we get to potentially add that card into our hand, and if we choose to add that card into our hand, then we get to draw 1 card. So she's essentially drawing us 2 cards. So 1 card is coming from our security, 1 card is coming from our deck, and that level of card draw is just really powerful because it's just a lot of cards to see all at once. And on top of that, if we choose we don't want to add that card, then we could leave it there and use that information to play some mind games to psych the opponent out on what that card could be. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Falcomon. So Falcomon is just another rookie that fits in that Aruraumon stat line, where it's just 2 to hard play and 5,000 DP, making it just a very aggressive rookie to be playing. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Starmons. So Starmons is just an absolutely insane Digimon to be running in this style of deck, just because its on-play ability is acting as some very good removal. So what its on-play ability states is for each Digimon we have in play, one of the opponent's Digimon gets minus 1000 DP for the turn. So the wider the field, the stronger this removal ability becomes, and because we are Rookie Rush, we have very easy access of just spamming lots of bodies on board to make Starmons as powerful as we could possibly make him, making him just a very solid card for the deck. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Tapirmon. So this is the brand new Tapirmon to come out of BT-06, and this is one of the few rookies that we're actually using for his inheritable ability more than anything else. So what this card's inheritable ability is doing is it happens during your turn once per turn. When a card is removed from your security stack, then you get to draw 1 card. So we do have ways in yellow to remove our own security. Take Lopmon as a good example of this, where if this card is just sitting passively underneath one of our powerful champions, then we play a card like Lopmon and we'll gain an additional card draw on top of other ways we have of removing cards from our security stack for extra benefits, and Tapirmon is just allowing us to draw even more cards than we could before. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Pulsemon as the last rookie of the deck. So Pulsemon is just an absolutely insane card to be running because of all of the utility this card has. So it has a nice on-play ability where if we have 3 or more cards in our security, then we get to draw 1 card, and if we have 3 or fewer cards in our security, then we get to gain a memory, and if we're at exactly 3 cards in our security, then we get both abilities to trigger. So this is very, very powerful just because it's doing basically everything Rookie Rush wants to be doing. It's allowing us to draw more cards, we're hard playing our rookie, and our rookie is going to be rather efficient just because we do want him to cost 2 rather than 3 because of the memory we could possibly gain back from the card. So this is just an absolutely insane card for Rookie Rush to be playing. Next, on to the champions, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Turuiemon. So Turuiemon is just a very powerful champion to be playing around with still, just because it has a low evo cost of 1 and it has a 6000 DP. So 6000 DP is still a little bit on the higher side when it comes to champions, making him just very aggressive to be playing around with stat-wise, and on top of that, the evo for 1 just allows us to stay as memory efficient as we possibly can, which is one of the big primary goals of Rookie Rush, is to be as memory efficient as we possibly can, trying to choke and starve the opponent of their resources while we're able to play 2 to 3 cards to their 1 to 2 cards. And then the last Digimon and last champion of the deck is going to be 4 copies of Apemon. So Apemon is a new card to come out of BT-06, and this card is absolutely insane because it is a level 4 with 8000 DP. That's all I really need to say about the card. We don't care about the fact that he evos for 2, we just care about the fact that he is a champion that has 8000 DP, making him one of the strongest, if not the strongest, base statted champions we have in the game, and he fits on color with yellow, so he's just a very nice inclusion and addition into the deck. Next, onto the options, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Blinding Ray. So Blinding Ray is just another really powerful card to be playing around with because it's an easy way for us to gain a lot of extra memory to play some more cards with. So what this card is doing is it has the main ability to trash the top card of our security stack, then we get to gain 2 memory. So this is another way to trigger our new Tapirmon to try to draw us a card off of removing cards from our security stack, and the crazy thing about Blinding Ray is even if we don't have any cards in our security stack, then we still get to gain 2 memory, ensuring that we have very powerful lines of play at all times. Next, I'm going to be running 4 copies of Spiral Masquerade. So Spiral Masquerade is going to be the big removal card of the deck. So what this card is doing is something similar to Starmons, where for each Digimon we have in play, we get to activate the following ability, and the following ability we get is one of the opponent's Digimon gets minus 3000 DP for the turn. So the more Digimon we have in play, the stronger this card becomes, and this is what's allowing us to remove lots of larger bodies or multiple smaller bodies, allowing us to easily contest the field and dominate the board state from there. And then on top of that, it has the nice security ability of activating its main effect, so if the opponent can't really deal with our Digimon and they're trying to race us and aggress into our security, then they could possibly hit Spiral Masquerade and be punished for doing so. And then the last option of the deck is going to be another new inclusion into the deck, and that's going to be 2 copies of Acid Injection. So Acid Injection is another really efficient removal card just because it costs 1, and it has the nice main ability to trash the top card of our security stack, then one of the opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn. So this is really, really powerful because it's trashing another card from our security, making Tapirmon look even more appealing because we have more ways to trash our security to trigger his ability to help us draw cards, and on top of that, it's minusing 5,000 DP for a low play cost of 1, allowing us to remove a lot of potential blockers or make the blockers not even a threat to begin with. So Acid Injection is just another very powerful removal card for the deck, and it has the nice security ability of adding this set to our hand, so that way we could figure out when is the best time to be playing this card. And then there's just so many other things that you could do with Rookie Rush outside of just completely switching out its colors and running a completely different base. But if we're trying to stick with the yellow base, we do still have just a lot of different ways and different tech and tools to be playing around with. So if you wanted a different 5th Digitama, you could run either Coromon or you could run Picmon to act as some solid extra forms of removal by reducing the opponent's Digimon's DP by 1,000. Their conditions are a little bit different. Picmon's is pretty easy to trigger just because we need to have 3 or more Digimon on our field to gain that minus 1,000. Or we need, with Coromon, to just be at 3 or less security, which, again, isn't very hard when we're actively reducing our own security at times. So both of them are acting as some really good extra forms of removal and addition to the removal in the Digitama slot. Then we do have just a couple of different other tech and tools that we could be playing with. So if you do want to lean a little bit heavier into the green side of things, we could run Terriermon to try to block the opponent from gaining memory outside of their tamer effects. So there is just a lot of memory manipulation running around, and the fact that Terriermon is already on theme with our sub color is making Terriermon look very appealing. On top of the fact that we do also have Needle Spray as just a green option card to be using. We also have Flower Cannon as another green option card to be using to rest or suspend the opponent's Digimon down, so that way we could bypass their blockers and aggress for the game that way. Then we do have other 2-drop 5k vanilla cards to be running if you want to start supporting a little bit of a red sub package, just because Upamon is another rookie that's following in that stat line, and we also have the new promo Guilmon that is allowing us to draw cards just generically with his when attacking ability. Then you also could run the Sistermons, just because the Sistermons are just very generically good cards in their own right. We don't necessarily care about the top part of their ability at all. We're just playing these just for their on-play abilities. So if you just want a generic way to just hard play a card and draw a card, then Sistermon Blanc is just really good at accomplishing that goal, acting as almost like a Gabumon in that case, just with some extra DP and in white. And then on top of that, we also have Sistermon CL to just act as a 3-costed 5k, which is, again, pretty decent stat lines to be running for being a level 4, which could potentially dodge certain forms of removal. Then, just as far as some other generically good yellow cards to think about running, you could run Tsukaimon just because it's another rookie that hard drops for 2. We don't care about the 3,000 DP, we just care about it hard dropping for 2. Then we also have Kudamon from BT-04 to be thinking about, just because it is removing cards from our own security. So comboed with Tapirmon, we could start drawing cards that way. And on top of that, this Kudamon is also acting as some removal, where one of the opponent's Digimon's going to get minus 2,000 DP. Then we do have Bushi Agumon to think about, just because he has the nice rush ability, so we could figure out a way to hard play him and then have him aggress the turn he comes into play. Then we do also have a Cupimon to be thinking about running, just because Cupimon is acting as a nice control type card for the deck, where the opponent can't reduce the cost of their Digivolutions. So if we do have the combo play of Terriermon and Cupimon on the field, we're really starting to limit what the opponent can do unless they remove or answer those cards. And if they're removing or answering these cards first, then that just allows our more aggressive cards to, well, continue to be more aggressive. Then we do have a new Pulsemon to think about playing with the deck as well, just because this Pulsemon is allowing us to trash our own security, until we have 3 cards in our security. So he just is helping us draw cards off of Tapirmon. If we do just have some extra cards in our security, we don't mind losing. On top of the fact that it also could help put us in that 3 security threshold to trigger various other abilities with. And then on top of that, he also allows us to gain a memory for each card trashed. So if we do trash 2 cards, then he's basically a rookie that costs 1 to play, which is very, very efficient, allowing us to utilize and maximize what we could do with some of our other cards. And on top of all of that, he also has a nice inheritable ability for whatever champions we're going to be using, where as long as we have 3 cards in our security, this Digimon will gain jamming. So jamming is just a really powerful ability to ensure that our Digimon are going to live through the security checks, so it just makes our champions even stronger than they would be before, as long as we can maintain being at 3 security. And then we also have new security Digimon to be playing around with, so you could even consider running Kudamon and splashing a tiny bit of a blue package in the deck, just because this Kudamon, well, is a security Digimon, so he comes out of the security and plays himself for free, with a very powerful on-play ability of allowing us to draw 2 cards, making him just a very good card for the deck overall. But if we're really concerned with trying to draw cards, then we could run Bluchimon, just because Bluchimon has this nice on-play ability where we get to draw 2 cards as long as we have 3 or fewer cards in our security. So again, there's that being at 3 or fewer card security sub-theme, where this is just a level 4 we could use in various different ways. He does have a slightly lower play cost than a lot of the other level 4s, so he's just really easy to hard play, and if we do need to evo him, then we can evo him as well, and he helps us draw cards, which is something Rookie Rush does want to see quite a lot of. And then as far as another alternate champion of the deck, you could run Bulkmon, just because Bulkmon is very powerful in his own right. He has a nice ability where during your turn, while you have 3 or more cards in your security, then this Digimon gains security attack +1. So you combo this with the new Pulsemon, and you could have a champion that has security attack plus and jamming, and that's very, very powerful interaction, even at worst without this Pulsemon. Just being able to maintain 3 or more security isn't the hardest thing in the world, so this is just really easy aggression to just ensure that you're going to try to deal as much damage as you possibly can onto the opponent as quickly as you can. But if you do want to run a Mega in the deck, then Magnagurmon is just one of the best Megas we could hard play, because it's just fitting on theme with what the deck is trying to do, which is just recover and play our level 3s as efficiently as it possibly can be. Then if you wanted to run an alternate option for removal, Wyvern's Breath is a new, very powerful removal option card, just because it's reducing one of the opponent's Digimon's DP by 15,000, so it's going to be able to delete most of the Digimon in the game, and on top of that, it has the nice security ability of activating its main, making it a very threatening card even in security. But if you do just want to try to draw cards and gain some memory, then you could use Yellow Memory Boost to just look for some extra rookies, and use the delay ability to gain some additional memory for a later turn, when we want to use it to just make it a very powerful turn happen. And if you do want to run a tamer in the deck, TK is still one of the best tamers that we have to be playing with, just because he's a memory fixing tamer. Ensuring our memory is always going to be at 3 means that we could play 2 to 3 cards a turn, which is really, really powerful, on top of which his on-play ability allows us to look at our security, so we have that security information, and then add a yellow Digimon into our hand, and then if we do add a yellow Digimon from among them into our hand, we get to recover 1, so it's basically acting as another way of drawing cards, similar to how blue was using Davis, yellow has TK, and that's just really, really good to help with the deck's consistency overall. Running Tamers is a little bit on the slower side, because we would rather just play a Digimon rather than a Tamer to apply more pressure onto the opponent, but having a clutch Tamer help you just enhance your further turns is very, very good still. So there is just a lot of different tech and tools that you could use with Rookie Rush, and again, you could even run different colored variations of Rookie Rush. So you could run a blue base, you could run a purple base, you could even start thinking about running a red base, just because red is starting to get access to a lot of Rookie Rush-esque tools. But at the end of the day, what Rookie Rush is trying to do is spam rookies on the field, draw lots of cards, and aggress onto the opponent as quickly and efficiently as they possibly can, also trying to starve the opponent of their own resources, because yours don't cost a whole lot. So that's just the whole point of Rookie Rush, and yellow is one of the best, if not the best color to accomplish all of those tasks, just because we do have access to a lot of easy forms of removal, a lot of card draw, and a lot of different and aggressive tools to be working with and interacting with a very easy way of splashing in other colors, because we're going to be hard playing cards more often than we're going to be evoing. But Rookie Rush as a whole is a very powerful strategy and is always going to exist in the game, so never count Rookie Rush out on anything and never sleep on this deck ever, just because of how it wants to be played, and it only gets better from here as more cards get added into the card pool that help with what Rookie Rush is trying to do as a whole. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.